Guys, I'm going to start the session. I'm BJ, the CEO of the Purposeful Project. Today's session is all around how to build your personal brand. We have three lovely panelists with us today. I'm the fourth one, I suppose. All three of them kind of operate in the space of personal branding in different guises. We've got Tiwa, who is a confidence coach and a speaker. She has built up her audience off the back of her corporate career over the last couple of years, and she will share stories and tips that she uses to continue to grow her brand. We've got Brian, who spent 15 years as a designer, building his agency, but over the last couple of years, he's actually built a personal brand and is kind of known as a social guy. And he's personally one of my go-to people I go to kind of find out news around certain platforms. You've got Charlie, who works for the agency WOAW, and they look after entrepreneurs and leaders and help them figure out their personal brand. So you've got three different people who are going to kind of talk about the matrix in different ways. The topics that we advertised and we said that we were going to cover were deciding your values, data review behind your brand story, as you can't be a brand without actually nailing your story, setting your personal brand targets, creating a strategy around your personal brand, and identifying the leadership and collaboration opportunities. I want to bring on Tiwa to the stage and have a bit of a conversation with her around her personal journey. So Tiwa, if you can make your way up. Welcome.
That's a welcome sound for me.
So you've had an explosive last year in the back of the pandemic. I've personally seen you go from being under 10K to over 10K in followers. The numbers are not millions, but the impact is. Your name rings bells in different rooms I'm in. We actually met for the first time last week in person. And the power of your brand was so strong that even though I had never met you, I actually recommended you and booked you for work. I'm sure I'm not the only one. You understand, in my opinion, the power of actually understanding your narrative and understanding who you should be. So in your opinion, I suppose a question I wanted to start with as a fan and also a friend, when I ask you the question, personal brand, what does it mean to you? And is it something that you have thought about, or have you just stumbled across as a strategy to kind of propel you in the industry?
Yeah, so thank you so much for having me. So hi, everyone. So glad to be here. So when I think of personal brand, I think of kind of having a reputation that is at scale. So because people can have a reputation, or they can achieve results, but no one knows about it. So for me, personal brand is results you achieve at scale. So personal brand wasn't something I took seriously in the beginning, but then when I began to realize the power of influencer culture and, how you having a brand and being known for something attracts opportunities to you, I was like, right, let's get serious with this. So what I do now is any results that I achieve, I make sure people know about it. I make sure that I celebrate my success. I make sure that I share my achievements. So it's all about knowing what are you really good at doing and how can you let the world know that this is what you are good at doing. So when opportunities arise, your name is the first name that comes to mind.
Absolutely. I think you've nailed that. When I think of confidence, when I think of female empowerment, and sometimes when I think about if Oprah and Beyonce had a child, your name comes up as like top of my mind. So this journey, I suppose who you are today and the gems you just dropped is kind of based on lived experiences, based on who you are today. But it probably wasn't who you were 5 years ago. It probably wasn't even who you were 2 years ago. What would you have done differently with the information that you now know when it comes to maintaining your personal brand?
I think because I used to be a perfectionist. I'm trying not to be anymore, but I think it's really important to show up as your true, authentic self. And I learned that there is beauty in your strengths and your struggles. And so as I started showing up more confidently online, I actually created a highlights that says struggles. So whenever it was like late at night and I was feeling insecure or not feeling confident in myself, I would record videos and highlight it on my Instagram page, because I never wanted anyone to just come to my page and go, oh, she's so confident, she's so perfect, I want to be like her, like how did she do this? It's like, no, I'm confident, but I have my fair share of insecurities like everybody else. So one big lesson I've learned is human to human connection really is the future of business. And having a personal brand is the human side of whatever it is that you're doing in business. And so you don't want your brand to be like super shiny and perfect. You want it to be human. And as a human, you have your beauty and you have your struggles, you have your strengths and your weaknesses, right? And so not being afraid to be vulnerable online and share some of my insecurities is a big lesson that I've learned along the journey.
Damn. I might even take that little note there around the story. So is that something that actually you record on the IG story, keep up?
Yeah. So it'll be like 2 a.m. Maybe I've just finished crying because I'm just like, why is life so stressful? Like, I'm not making enough TikTok videos. I'm not going to survive this. And then I'll just grab my phone and be like, guys, like, I really can't sleep right now. My brain is just a mess. My negative thoughts are telling me that I'm not working hard enough, da, 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 da. And I will just post it on my stories, like me just sharing where I am in life with my community. And I will just highlight it so that whenever anyone comes on my page, if they want to see what some of my insecurities are, they can see it on my Instagram page. So the same way I have the bikini pics and the holiday pics and, you know, lifestyle and vibes, I also have sometimes I feel like shit. Sometimes I'm just like not feeling good and not feeling confident. And that's a part of me. And that's what being my true authentic self through my personal brand looks like.
Oh, love that. Now, you obviously have a few things that you do consistently. I think consistency and kind of building frameworks that enable you to maintain are two things I've identified that are quite important in kind of growing and keeping the personal brand. What are the kind of tools that you use to manage your personal brand? What are the things that you think about often that kind of people don't see at the forefront that maybe we as the audience can kind of start implementing today?
Yeah, definitely. So personal branding is really about storytelling. And a lot of people feel uncomfortable about their personal brand or self-promotion because they think it looks arrogant, or it's like, oh, now you're an influencer and you don't want to be seen as an influencer, or like, you know, people are going to think you're superficial because you're just about, hey, everyone, look at me, look at me, look at me. But actually, personal branding and self-promotion isn't superficial. It's the person who does it and the way they do it that makes it superficial. So I like to say self-promotion is just an exchange of value and enthusiasm, where I have something valuable to bring to the world and I find someone who's enthusiastic and excited about what I have to bring. And so when I have a personal brand, it communicates my story, it communicates the impact that I have, and it allows people who need what I have to find me and form community with me and trust me and either buy from me or recommend me and things like that. So I think it's really important to share your story. First of all, know what your story is and be open to sharing that. And when you're sharing your story, you're not saying, hey, everyone, look at me, I'm the best, I have an amazing life. No, you're saying, look at the impact that I've been able to have. Look at my mission, listen to my why, understand why I am here in this world and what I plan to do. What are my hopes? What are my dreams? Those are some of the things you want to share. What inspires you? Share like the behind the scenes of one of your days. You know, share like, you want to come across as a thought leader. That is another big thing. When you're building your personal brand, you want to come across as a thought leader in your industry. How do you do that? Comment on the challenges being faced in your industry. So whatever social media platform that you use, so for example, LinkedIn, maybe that's where a lot of my corporate clients are. I wrote an article with Glamour magazine about return to work imposter syndrome. So things like that, writing articles, blog posts, doing interviews around the topic show that you really know what you are talking about. So I've been able to come across as a thought leader in confidence and building women because I talk about it, I have conversations about it, I interview people about it, I get interviewed about it, I write about it. So, and I express my thoughts and opinions and solutions about it. So yeah, share your story, know what your story is and share that story, share the impact that you are having, not just how amazing you are, and really come across as a thought leader in your industry by commenting and joining conversations and begin to associate yourself with certain people and certain ideas in your industry.
Love that. We've had a few questions in from the audience, so I thought let's just dive into them. Matthew asks, how do you find time to build your brand when you have a full-time job, family, friends, hobbies?
Yeah. You just have to add it on like any other activity, right? Because there is no award for being the world's best kept secret. Look at Unilever, look at all the biggest tech companies in the world, look at the size of their marketing budgets, right? That goes to show you that it's not good enough to just say, oh, the product will speak for itself. Just put it on the shelf, it'll be fine. No, you actually have to speak for the product, which is who you are, right? You have to use your mouth and your voice and share some of the great stuff that you're doing. So it's just a matter of prioritizing it. You know, maybe give yourself 10 minutes in the morning to post something and share a part of your week, share your thoughts. Like, it's just something you have to learn to prioritize because it's actually really important. So there's really no secret to it. You know, the same way you make time to go to the gym and exercise, you just have to make time to think about something that you want to share with your community and schedule it and then post it.
Okay. We then have another question in. I don't want to butcher the person's name because my name was butchered so many times at school, but initials are UM. So the question says, personal brand, being known for a particular thing, how do you tackle the fear of being branded as just one thing? E.g., a singer, because I am more than a singer and I want to be known more than a singer. And then they've elaborated and said that the fear has often kept them from pursuing things because of fear of being branded. How can they potentially tackle this? I suppose it's a two-sided question, right?
Yeah, there's a two-sided question. So let's hold the first part on fear. I'll come back to that. So I wanted to be known as a speaker and nobody was inviting me to speak. So I said, you know what? I'm going to host my own events. I'm going to create my own portfolio. I'm going to organize my own things so that people begin to see what I am capable of doing. So let's say you're a singer and you want to branch into other things. Instead of waiting for people to give you opportunities to showcase your skills in other areas, you have to create opportunities for yourself to showcase those skills. So another big part of me is I love traveling. I love creating amazing travel content. Now, have brands flown me out to the Caribbean to create travel content for them? No, not yet. Is that on my wish list? Absolutely. But until then, every time I go on holiday, I'm going to post my pictures. I'm going to create my reels. I'm going to, get the aesthetics together. And now I have another brand on my Instagram called Holiday Tiwa. So my followers, my community, whenever I'm on holiday, they know, wow, Holiday Tiwa has arrived, right? I'm still confident and killing it Tiwa. I'm still all the other Tiwas, but there's so many different parts of me, and I'm not going to hide one just because I'm known as confident and killing it. So don't be afraid to showcase different sides of you. But what I would say is look for a common theme across all those different passions and interests. So for example, yes, I love speaking and I love putting on events and I love meeting people and I love traveling. But what's the running theme underneath all of that? I believe in living your life to the fullest. I believe in helping people live life to the fullest, and I'm also going to live life to the fullest. So whether it's travel, whether it's food, whether it's fashion, whether it's female empowerment, there's a running theme across everything that you see me and this is somebody who lives life to the fullest and who shines her light in the world. So your personal brand is bigger than just your career. right? That's separate. It's what do you want to be known for? What energy, what reputation do you want to have? And my personal brand is I shine my light, I empower people, I'm adventurous. And so I do those things to reinforce that. And then fear is just a negative thought of something in the future that hasn't even happened yet. So your story, right? There's so many different chapters to you. As a human, you aren't just one thing in one box, like you're multifaceted, you're diverse. So think about how you can express all those different sides of you. And people will always have something to say. Your job is not to make everyone like you. Your job is to show up as your true, authentic self. And if they like it, amazing. If they don't, they can leave. Like, it's not by force to follow you. They can actually leave. They don't have to be in your space. So never shrink yourself because you're afraid of what other people are going to think. Always acknowledge your true, authentic self and do what makes you happy. Because at the end of the day, when you get to the end of your life, you can't blame people on social media because you didn't follow your dreams and you didn't express yourself. So, you don't always have to be known for one thing. You can be known for multiple things, but look for a running theme between all of those things.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Tell you what, there's a few more questions that have come up. I don't know if you want to jump off and try to answer some of those. There's Tiffany who's kind of asked a question around confidence post, but it's been a pleasure to have you on, and I'm now going to pass on to Charlie.
Sure. I'm just going to put like my social media in the chat. So if anyone has any questions that weren't answered, feel free to send me a DM and I'll be happy to answer them. But yeah, thank you for having me.
Thanks, Tiwa. All right, then we'll welcome him in Charlie on next. Hey, Charlie.
Hey, everyone.
So Charlie, take it away. I'll pass on the mic and I'll ring a note when the time's up. But I hope everyone is enjoying thus far.
All right, let me know if you can see my screen.
Yeah, we can see it.
Fantastic. All right. Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for having me on board. This is my first webinar, so really excited to be involved and really hope that you can take away something tangible by the end of the session. So Tia's gone through quite a few of these bits already, but I always just think it's worth recapping kind of what is your personal brand. And personal branding is kind of the practice of marketing individuals and their careers as brands. So it's that ongoing process, as Tia said, kind of developing and maintaining your reputation. So it's you as a brand and a representation of you and your beliefs. But what makes personal branding good? Well, there's lots of different kind of ideas and blogs and comments and opinions out there, but essentially these are the key things that can really put in the pillars of your personal brand. So being consistent, posting regular content, showing up, literally like a gym, the diet, learning a language, show up, be there, post as much as you can. Be credible, so talk about your niche, your experiences, your ups and downs, so anything that you've kind of experienced on your journey, and because that can really help people along the way. Be authentic. So again, this has been said before, but I think this is such an important point. And, you know, you really got to show the real you and reflect on your experiences. There's no point kind of ever, you know, the famous quote, ever be yourself, everyone else is already taken. I think that's super important. And, you know, it would be super boring if we were all the same. So make sure that you're bringing that authentic element. Be responsive. So comment on live trends or events or any content, news, things that are relevant and interesting to you as a particular individual or your industry. And that really ties in with kind of being a thought leader as well. And being self-aware. So make sure that you, again, are being you, but you're adding value and you're connecting with your audience. So why should you start a personal brand? Well, there's an element of trust and authority. So this helps build the trust and with your audience. So depending on who your client or your customers are, you can really put yourself in a position where you can connect and network with them in a really functional way. Really position yourself again as a thought leader in your industry. again, building a network. So touching again on that reputation side of things, just making sure that you've got that personal brand that really articulates who you are, what you do, and how you can help people understand what their problems are and show how you can give them a solution. You can really leverage your personal brand as well, online and offline. So I think it's really important, you know, kind of your brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. And I think that's something that is quite a cool quote, and it's quite cool to kind of reflect on. You know, when you walk away, you want someone to say, oh wow, that was a really interesting comment that X person made. And I think that's, you know, that's a really nice way to tie it into kind of attracting more clients as well. So building your personal brand and seeing you as the go-to expert in your space, in your industry or your niche, will really give you an opportunity to attract those clients. And as we see things becoming more and more specialized, you know, this is becoming a really, really important factor. So this is LinkedIn specific, but do let me know. We do work across kind of different channels as well. So Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook. But this is LinkedIn specific, just to bear in mind for this particular presentation. So before you start creating content, it's really important to identify your purpose. So this is something that is key. Identify your audience. So who do you actually want to talk to? And then develop your content strategy. What do you actually want to say? So for this one, I've used an example of a couple of posts that I've done recently. On the left there is one of my clients, Sarah Davies. She's literally just gone into Strictly Come Dancing, which is really exciting. And you may also know her as a dragon on Dragon's Den. And what is the point in posting this post? Well, it's a great way for me to show value. So I can show other people, potential new clients, current clients, how authentic and how relatable Sarah is. But I can also showcase from the value side of things in terms of WOAW and the business that we have these high profile people. And this is fantastic. And this is an important way to, you know, really identify what you want to say. The post about Sky Brown and the post about today's webinar, you know, these are really good ways to be responsive, but also to post and let people know what you're up to. You know, what does success look like? What targets am I trying to hit? What's your personal mission? What do you want to achieve? I want to showcase, you know, young females doing particularly well in sport. That's something that I find really interesting. I want to showcase fantastic webinars that are happening. I want to showcase really cool clients. So these are things that are part of my personal mission and are part of the wider WOAW mission as well. But in terms of building your wider career, it's always really great to have that personal presence. This is a really important one, and I don't think we've touched on it too much just yet. And this is to identify your audience. So who do you want to talk to? And what do they do? So do they work in marketing? Do they work in tech? Are they, do they live in a certain country? You know, what is it about them? What's important? Why are they your main demographic? And what are their main challenges? This is a really key point. So kind of really helping provide the solution for them. Where can you offer advice that they might need? Or where can you provide something that would really add value to what they need? Any learnings that you've had. So we've got a lot of amazing founders that we work with who have had various different ups and downs, and they love to talk about, you know, experiences that maybe weren't so positive. And that actually can be really, really good for founders that are up and coming, because it's not all sunshine and rainbows. And, you know, sometimes it can be difficult, and that's okay. And it's okay to talk about it. And it's something that, you know, we should talk about more, because essentially you're never going to learn if you don't make mistakes. And I think that learning curve is actually where successful people come. So I think that's something that's really important. And also, how can you help your audience? So what can you show them? You know, how can you engage with them, and what can you do for them that they haven't been able to see before? So this is the most important one. This is creating a content strategy, and this will be the most time consuming. So here you kind of, what you want to do is place you at the top and essentially pop your key values or your key elements into buckets. So we like to call them pillars or buckets. The three that I've gone for here are just kind of the journey. So that could be your career journey, your personal journey, any values that you might share, and anything else that might be important to you. So, you know, if you're particularly passionate about the environment, for example, or you're particularly passionate about female empowerment or sport, these are things that we can all touch on. But essentially, these need to be unique to you. There isn't a kind of across the board, everyone should follow, because everyone works in different spaces and everyone wants to achieve different things. So you really got to think about kind of what you want to stand for, identify your values as a person and how you want to achieve what you want to achieve, and what kind of content you want to produce. Kind of, do you want to do lots of videos? Do you want to do imagery? What is it that you're producing and why? And also, how will you ensure that consistency? Because again, that consistency is important, and showing up is important too. So here's some LinkedIn hacks that hopefully will be useful for moving away from this session. So just as a recap, posting on weekdays in the morning is when we personally at WOAW see the most engagement for our clients. So that is unique to our client base, can be different for different people, but across the board, on average, mornings work best. Again, this is LinkedIn specific. Discussion, so make sure that you're commenting, you're getting involved with conversations, you're really inviting people to get involved with what you're talking about. Also, following hashtags or getting involved in further conversations, messaging, etc. Really make sure you optimize your content. So grab the reader's attention. First impressions, unfortunately, do count on LinkedIn. It's a saturated place. The people that are posting are, posting a lot. So you've got to make sure that what you are posting is really effective and going to grab that reader's attention. And test and learn, see what works, experiment, put a photo up, put a video up, do a graphic. Sometimes it won't work. So what? You learn from it. And also set up Google Alerts. This is such a great hack for anyone that works in kind of the PR or social media space. It's just fantastic for getting really quick insights and getting stuff that you need quickly, and being on that responsive basis as well. When's the best time to start your personal brand? Well, the best time to start your personal brand was at the start of your career, but the second best time is now. Thank you so much for having me, guys. And I'd love to see you guys adding each other from the webinar, a great networking opportunity. You can even add me if you like, comment, respond, get involved, ask any questions, or even set yourself a goal to write a post.
Thank you so much, Charlie. That was filled with a lot of gems. I think we can all agree. I'm just going to siphon you out and then bring you back in 10 minutes. We've got Brian coming to the stage.
Fab.
All right, then. This is biggest social media boss. What's going on, DK?
I'm good, man. How are you guys?
Yes,
Great so far. I'm probably going to repeat a little bit of the stuff you guys already said. You guys had the advantage over me. But my name is Brian. I'm going to be talking about my personal brand and how I built it. Not because I'm self-centered, but because I built it, and that's what I know the most about, more than anybody else's. I'd love to talk about Rihanna, but I don't really know that much about her. She keeps ignoring my DMs. But we're going to do me first. So let's go. So this is me in January 2018. Had a new family. I had a new job. I was just a graphic designer. I had a new house and a new perspective. As you can see, I didn't even have curtains because I just moved in, and I was just Brian, right? I was just Brian Kofi Hollingsworth. Fast forward all the way to September, today, 2021. As you can see, I got rid of my son. I'm joking, he's over there playing. I'm just ahead now, so I've gotten rid of my body, and I've got a little bit of a logo. 9,000 plus followers across multiple platforms, written 4 ebooks, been guest features on podcasts and webinars, and had brand partnerships. And I'm now a graphic designer, a brand consultant, and content creator, and an author. Not saying that to boast, just saying that to show you, because 9,000 isn't that much compared to some other people, but it's 8,999 more than I had 3 years ago, because the only person that knew me was my mom and my wife. And the maths is wrong there because I added 1. But yes, it's just to show the power of what you can do if you put yourself out there, and if you talk about the things that you know and the things that you love, and if you want to help people, and more importantly, connect and increase your reputation. I didn't set out to do any of this. I literally just started talking about stuff I liked in hopes that somebody else will like the things I liked as well and talk with me. And then all these years later, I've turned into something else, right? And that is the power, one of the powers of personal branding. I'm so sure Rihanna wanted to just be a singer, and now she's got like $3 billion brands under her name, right? I'm not sure when she cooked those up, but she started off with something, and then she turned her empire into something else. So how to build a personal brand. Talk about what you know and help people, right? Talk about what you know, talk about what you love, and use that to help people. That is it. I see people talking about stuff all the time, and I'm like, okay, you know how to talk about that, but is that what you know the most? Is that what you know the best? And I'm like, well, this is what you do for a job. And I understand and appreciate that some people don't necessarily want to talk about what they do for a job. They want to leave the job at home. But imagine if you're in advertising and you're on the internet talking about, I don't know, bags or something like, right? And it's like, but you do advertising. Why don't you just go and talk about it? Because that's what you know the most. So I always encourage you, if you're going to start a personal brand, talk about something you know the most, because you will never run out of topics to talk about, right? And the best thing in the world to do is to help people, right? Everybody needs help with something. Everybody has a problem, and there's always going to be someone with a solution. That person can be you with your personal brand. So this is my mission, and I always suggest that you have a mission. You need something to do, right? So my mission is to help creators and businesses build a brand. It's very, very, very simple. It says who I help and how I help, right? So having a personal brand is you being of service to people, right? Having anything, having a company, having a small company, a big company, being a creator, whatever it is you want to do, it's about serving people. So if we take the mission bit out and just break it down, the service is helping people. And who am I helping? Creators and businesses. I always look at businesses and wonder if I've put way too many S's there. Listen, I'm a creator, not a writer, even though I've written 4 books, but don't want to be there. And what am I helping them do? I'm helping them to build a brand. So before you start anything, I always start with people and getting clarity. So what are you trying to do? Who are you trying to help? And how are you going to help them, right? Clarity is one of the most important things. So you start with this little line. So if somebody asks you, hey, what do you do? Well, I help creators and businesses build a brand. It's very simple. They get it. They understand who it's for. If they're not a creator or a business, they know, oh, this person can't help me. I'm not for them. And I help them build a brand, right? So I always encourage people to get clarity, because if you don't know who you're talking to or what you can help them with or what you're talking about, you're just lost. You're just going to go this way, that way, and every which way, right? So why is building a brand important? First one is reputation. Reputation, right? What do people say about you? So when you're not in a room, when you are in a room, you know, what does anybody say about you? What do you want to be known for? All of this is about being known, right? Rihanna stopped doing music because she wanted to be known for her brands, right? And Kylie, you know, from Kylie Cosmetics, she stopped, you know, kind of hanging around with her family, created her own brands, and now she's known for making billionaire brands. DJ Khaled even stopped doing music for a while, and he even went going to be a creator, right? And he kind of stumbled in that. But all of this is about reputation. What do you want to be known for? Some people have bad reputations, like Trump. Some people have great reputations, like Drake, for instance, right? So it's all about building your reputation online, because that is how the world has worked in real life, and it's the same way it works online. What do you want to be known for, and what do people say? Oh, I want to talk about social media. Oh, I know a guy. Oh, I want to know about the latest fashion. Oh, I know a person. I want to know about where to take my girlfriend on a date. Oh yeah, there's this girl online and she does that. So it's all about reputation, and can people point to you when someone says, hey, I want to know about this, right? Second one is opportunities. This is the opportunity right here. I wouldn't have gotten this opportunity if I wasn't out there talking, and somebody, and BJ or somebody else would have seen me and said, oh, I like what he said on that podcast over there, or I like what he said on Instagram Reels, or I like what he said on TikTok or YouTube. I wouldn't have found myself in doing this webinar right now, right? So you can create your own opportunities by creating a personal brand. That's the whole point. You're building your own door and you're opening it. Like Tiwa said, don't wait for someone to invite you, because they probably won't ever invite you. You can just create your own stage, create your own event, invite people. It could be 6 one day and it could be 17 another day. I've had an Instagram live before and one person turned up, and no, it wasn't my mom, but one person turned up, and I treated it like it was 100 people, because one day it might be 100 people, and there's no point disrespecting the one person that's turned up and saying, oh, you're not worth it. No, they are worth it, because it's all practice. Every time people are going to do a concert, they do a practice run to an empty hall, just to do a sound check, etc., etc. But you'll perform to an empty hall before you perform to a full hall, right? So before you get that opportunity, create the opportunity for yourself and use the online platform to practice, so to speak. So when the opportunities do come, you are more than ready. And the third one is connect, which is one of my favorite ones. Again, I wouldn't be here if I hadn't connected with people like BJ in order to for him to even invite me and know me and know I'll be good for this opportunity, right? And building my reputation. I'm just connecting all the words. So I wrote a book called Connect, Don't Collect, because I realized everybody was so obsessed with getting followers, and followers are great, right? I'm not going to say that followers aren't great, but for the most part, it comes with the territory and they're hard to build, right? If you just create better content and help people, followers come, but they were doing all these hacks, giveaways and all that kind of stuff. And I thought, I don't really know how to grow followers, right? I don't think most people really don't know how to grow followers. They just end up making great content and they try and sell you a course about how to grow followers. For the most part, growing followers is great, but what you're really here to do, especially with your personal brand or whatever platform it is, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, whatever, is to connect with people, right? I don't know how to grow followers, but I know how to connect with people. I've met so much people, so many amazing people, CEOs of big companies, small companies, people doing just amazing stuff. And I'm just talking to them, connecting them with the DM, working with them eventually. And just from talking on the internet, right? Just saying my opinion, saying something I like to talk about for free, and I connect with them and it creates opportunities, right? And increases my reputation. So one thing you should go into it go into personal branding for is actually connecting with people, right? That is what social media is actually about, connecting. All right. So this is why you should get a personal brand. So companies are usually logos, right? And they're trying to connect with people, but people are people, they're not logos. So yeah, the logos eventually create meaning, but for the most part, people want to connect with people or floating heads in my example over here. So people connect with people a lot easier than they do connect with logos. That's why companies are spending billions and hundreds of millions trying to make you remember and connect with their logo. But for the most part, they use people like actors, athletes, influencers, creators, and celebrities to actually connect with you. So I started my personal brand because I really just wanted to make more money for my business. But I realized that, hey, no one's going to care about my little agency logo. That doesn't mean anything. But if I start showing my face and talking about what I do and stuff like that, it will be much, much easier to connect. So that is what I started doing. And it just turned into something else. And now nobody even knows my business, but they know me. But no problem there. A little quick quote from Twitter. So back in the day, no one would give a rat's ass who the CEO or founder of a company was. Now that all's changed. People want transparency and they want to know everything about your company. Creating a personal brand as a CEO and a founder is one of the best things you can do. Even Tim Cook, the CEO of arguably, in my opinion, the best brand in the world, Apple, has a Twitter and he talks on Twitter. He really doesn't need to, but he does because he knows it helps. Having a personal brand creates opportunities. We already spoke on that. So what would I do differently if I started again? I would have started an email list so much earlier. Social media is great. I'm never going to deny it. But starting an email list allows you to jump over social media, right? There's no algorithms because there's no tiny robots deciding what you see or what somebody else sees, and you might not be seeing if it's not deemed, worthy in an algorithmic feed. It's much more versatile. You can have text, videos, links. Instagram is forcing us all to say link in bio, and not one person wants to go to a link in bio. But in an email, you can just put the link in there. It's direct, right? Again, there's no algorithm. So as soon as you send it, 6:03, the person receives it 6:03 p.m. in their account. And they can open it and view it. It's a sales platform. Email has been around for a very, very long time, longer than any social media platform. So you can send in it. People are used to having deals in their inbox, and it's personal because it's in their inbox. It's one step away from having their number. Social media is social media. They have to log in. People usually don't like to give their emails up. It's a bit more personal. And you have the contacts on social media. What did they ask you for when you sign up? They ask you for the email, but you don't get the email, right? So if they shut your account down, you've got no way of contacting any of those people. But if you have your email, you can take it from one platform to another email platform, and you can always contact those people. Like I said, it's one step away from having someone's address or number. You have those contacts, you own those contacts. You can have an email list and you can move it anywhere. So how do I start an email list, Brian? That's great, but what do I use? So I personally use Review, right? It was bought by Twitter. So if you use Twitter as well, you can integrate it with your Twitter. As you can see, I've sent many emails about how to get a free logo or a cheap logo and explained why. And this particular review platform allows you to kind of have a web page and you could see all the emails there. So they're not like, oh, I've just sent the email and if you didn't receive it, you didn't receive it. Nope. Anyone can go and check out the previous emails you've already used. And you can also charge. So you can have a members area where you can charge however much you want for exclusive emails. And this is my tools of my trade. Where do I get my ideas from? Some of them just come from my mind, so I'll just write them down in notes. A lot of them come from Twitter, emails I've subscribed to, YouTube videos I watched, DM messages I'm having, articles I read, Instagram posts, other people's Instagram posts, and books. I've been a graphic designer, so I use Illustrator, Photoshop, Adobe, and a great app called InShot. I do highly suggest Canva though. If you're not a designer, Canva is really, really, really good. For shooting and editing films, I use Filmic Pro, and I use the remote sometimes so I can shoot from afar, and I use InShot to edit. My hardware is very, very simple. It's a phone, a stand, a mic, and a laptop, and coffee. I take 1 coffee a day in the morning and it gets me going. It used to be 6. I used to be a junkie. So 1 coffee a day helps. That is it. Thank you for listening. Any questions, I guess?
Awesome. There's plenty of questions that have flown through, Brian. Charlie, if you want to come up to the stage as well, we can move on to our Q&A section. All right, then. We've got to keep the energy up, man. Keep the energy up. Right, so let's go with the actual question that's coming in the Q&A, and I'm going to go through the comments and start taking stuff out. But both of you have shared a lot of resources there. You've shared things that are actually practical that people can take to their business today. So thank you both for that. I suppose this question coming from Joanne. They've asked, what are the biggest personal branding mistakes for you? Open floor to either of you to answer that.
For me, I would probably say not having a place to take people. So you can create content, great, but people always want more. We're humans. We want bigger car, bigger house, more food, more better experience, whatever it is we always want more. So recently I've realized that, okay, I got content. Okay, what's after this, Brian? Okay, I got a book. They're like, okay, we read the book. What's after this, Brian? Okay, I got a service. Okay, what's after that? So one of the things that you really need to have is have more. It could be more content, it could be longer content, you could have the short form content and take it to a podcast, but people always want more. So work on having a next step, whether it's free, whether it's longer form, whether it's paid, something you want people to pay for. Always have a deeper level that people can not only connect with you, but learn with you and even meet you up, and always just give more. I wish I realized that earlier and developed more products per se or services in order for people to get more out of me.
Love that. Charlie?
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Making sure that you've got kind of that clear call to action about where you're sending people. I think also a point that we touched on, all of us have touched on, but again, just like being authentic. I think it's really obvious if you're not being authentic. If you're posting things that aren't quite you. And one of my clients said to me the other day that they want their social media to come across as if they were in a pub with some mates. So, the same, they want people to read that content and think, yeah, he would say that, So I think that's something that's really important to just remember. You don't want to be coming across as kind of inauthentic or not yourself.
Love that. We've got a new question in from CM. It says, hey guys, would you prioritize your personal brand over your company's brand if your business is small?
Great question. It depends on your business and what you want to achieve. I think without knowing further context, it would be difficult for me to say, yes, completely bang on. But I do think that personal branding will always benefit you, no matter where you are in your business career, or whether you have your own business or whether you are working for someone else. So I do think that, company branding is, of course, it's important, especially if you've got a product or a service. But again, if you are kind of a solo founder or you're a very young business, building your personal brand can be a great way to set the stage for your wider branding to be taking off.
Nice.
Yeah, for me, again, it really depends on kind of what the business is. But for instance, sometimes you can actually fuse the two, but not too much because the lines can get blurred. But for instance, like I said, most businesses use a human to connect with people, right? They use a celebrity or an influencer. If you don't have the budget for any of that, which probably most small businesses don't really have the budget, you could use the founder. So you could talk in, you know, you create content for your business, but, you know, hide behind the logo or whatever, but you be the face of your business, basically. So it's not necessarily a full personal brand, it's a semi-personal brand within your business, because understandably promoting 2 accounts on every platform is probably very, very time consuming, and, you know, it's just, yeah, it's pretty hard. But like, for instance, for me, so I run an agency. For the most part, it's work that can't be shown, or hey, here's some work, right? So it's kind of easy for me to go and promote myself as a personal brand, because I'm not really doing so much on the other socials as much, because for the most part, it doesn't really get you work. You get work by referrals, so it's very business relevant. Do you know what I mean? Whereas if you're doing like a cake business, let's say, it's probably easier for you to use yourself as the face rather than say, oh, I'm someone with a cake business, go over there. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it's all relevant.
No, we love that. We love to see it. Next question that we had in. Okay, cool. I had a few other questions that I had in the chat here that I wanted to go through. I suppose with both of you, when it comes to budget and understanding what you can do for free and understanding what it would do, what it looks like working with a team. I know, Charlie, you actually help people build out their profile and take it to another level. At what stage should someone be thinking about doing that transition and maybe getting support? Do you like getting people super early, Charlie, in your work? And then Brian, maybe speak to more of the solopreneur who's kind of got no budget and like what they can do like this week to kind of like take everything you said. So let's start with Charlie first, then move to Brian.
Fab. Yeah, I mean, great question. So I think there's lots of different ways. You know, we've got lots of different clients that are in various stages, you know, startups. We've got clients that are, you know, pre-seed funding, that are Series A funding. It just completely depends on kind of, you know, the situation that they're in. What I would say is kind of just to reflect back on what I just said, is that personal branding will always be important, and having that personal brand, you know, we've got clients that have seen an increase in venture capital support, in venture capital interest because of their personal brand. They're sharing more about it, they're sharing more about the business, and that's just really an important way to showcase that you know you do know what you're talking about, but also that raising awareness, because people might not know that, you know, you are the CEO of said company. So it's really important to let them know, and they know who to come to, they know who to connect with, and they know kind of where they can go.
Love that. And Brian, for the solopreneur?
Yeah, so if you are just by yourself, you know, there's this thing that Gary Vee says is called sweat equity. You know, you just have to do. You know, I like to say you can't learn to swim from a book. You got to jump in the pool and actually swim. You got, you know, and you can't beat the reps. You know what I mean? You can't go to the gym and look at the equipment. You got to do the reps. Do you know what I mean? So in order to get from A to B, if you're starting by yourself with nothing, just put in as much work as you can and don't overthink the process. Just dive in. Do you know what I mean? Don't overthink the process at all. You can get all the techniques and all of that down later. Just pull up a camera, shoot some video, pull up Twitter, pull up a blog, and start writing and get it out there in the first place. Because if you do get enough money, which hopefully you do get enough money, and you want to hire people like to join things that are already going and already moving, right? Nobody wants to jump in nothing that doesn't exist yet. Oh, I've got this idea. That's great, but we need proof, boy. We need proof. Do you know what I mean? So you got to make it look like you got something there already in order for people to say, hey, I like what you're doing over there. I want to join, right? But you got to do, I always say, do your first 100. You know what I mean? 100 is a lot. Do your first 100 Instagram posts, 100 tweets, 100 blogs, 100 podcasts, 100 YouTube, whatever your format is, whatever you like to do 100 first, so you understand the ropes before anybody else comes to give you help on those ropes. Do you know what I mean? So yeah.
Love that. Love that from you both. There's been so many gems shared. Are you both happy to share the slides that you guys did when we do the wrap up to the audience?
Yeah, sure thing.
Yeah. Just
awesome.
I'll send the invoice. No,
the price has gone up. The price has gone up.
I'll send them out.
Right, I just wanted to show people a few things that you can do at the Purposeful Project now. So we've just redone our website recently, took over as CEO in August, and it was quite important for us to try to figure out how we can better help support the community. So obviously this week's topic is all around personal branding. On our on-demand page is where you can read our blog site. So there was 2 events last week. Every time that there's an event, you can go on the blog. So this one you're watching today will be live up later this week. The video will be there. And then there's a lovely article written by Chloe and our team who breaks down the lessons from the topic, and we'll put up a downloadable link for you guys to read the 2 presentations that Charlie and Brian have shared. Another interesting thing is we've now opened up a membership element. It's a free membership. Everything we do is free. And in here, you'll be able to meet the other entrepreneurs. I found that a few of the questions have been coming samey from some of the people, which clearly shows that everyone's asking each other the same type of question. What feels right, who to connect with. So if you're looking for a place to call home, if you're already a member, let us know. You know what it looks like already. But in there, it's run on Circle. You get a chance to meet and connect with people. We will be announcing our October events very, very soon. All our events are on our live site, so look out for that. The main thing that I'm really excited about is that we've opened up a store. So me and the partner in the business, the 2 partners, Dave and Simon, we've been really, really fortunate enough to run successful businesses. And we've said to ourselves that over the next couple of years, we want this site and this platform to be a home for free for entrepreneurs. So you can see the price point is $0. At the moment, there's a business toolkit, PDF, a daily planner, and a budget like boss. We'll be putting up some tips around personal branding, around building a 6-figure business. So please make sure you sign up to the newsletter so you get tapped in on that. I just wanted to give an opportunity for you guys, both Charlie and Brian, to kind of share where people can get a hold of you guys. I know, Brian, you've got a book that people can download right now. And I know, Charlie, you guys often do a lot of stuff on LinkedIn. So yeah, the floor's open for both of you.
Okay. Yeah, so you can find most of my stuff at thebkh.uk. I'm on most platforms as the BKH, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn. I'm Brian Hollingsworth. But yeah, I'm everywhere. Just type the BKH and you can find me. Type it in Google, type thebkh.uk, and you should be able to find me, hopefully. If you haven't, then I haven't done my job and I don't deserve you.
Love that. Charlie?
Yeah, I've dropped my LinkedIn in the chat there, guys, so feel free to connect, add. I'd love you to join the WOAW, follow the WOAW page as well on LinkedIn. That'd be fab. We've got an Instagram. We're also actively hiring for 2 roles, so it's really exciting startup and it's growing really quickly. So if you've got any further questions or anything at all, just let me know. I'm more than happy to have a chat.
Love that. Guys, we promise to always run on time. We have literally smashed our target today. There was a lot of gems shared. I hope you guys have found this really useful. We have another event on this Saturday, all about how to work with influencers. And we've got people sat on both sides of the coin on the conversation. I sold my influencer agency 2.5 years ago and worked for Coca-Cola, Domino's, Virgin Records, Sony in the space of a year, 6-figure business, 12 employees. I'll be sharing gems about that and also interviewing people in the space. I hope you guys all have wonderful evenings. Remember to stay safe and stay happy. Thank you to our panelists for joining. Bye, everyone.
Thanks to you as well. Thanks.